In this video, I will present you a set of exercises for beginners on how to prepare for working with the Agrath bath Mahlat. So this set of exercises is, keep in mind guys, not for summoning Agrath, however it is for preparing to work with her essence. It develops energy bodies and it also develops your ability to work with Agrath Bat Mahlat more effectively in the future. Out of all four queens, Agrath is actually really contrary to popular belief. Her behavior is a little bit different than other queens. So Lilith, Agrath and Nama tend to appear to people relatively intensely at the first try, but Agrath is different. She tends to appear to a degree a beginner can handle. However, her real nature is in reality extremely malignant, and once she starts showing the malignant aspects to herself, it's really traumatizing to people. It's really traumatizing to those who work with her. So those exercises are designed to essentially prepare you for work with Agrath Bat Mahlat. So when you start calling her and when she down the line shows malignant aspects of the self, you can handle her without a lot of issues. Exercises presented here are essentially mostly meditations and visualizations. Regarding the protective circle, what I would advise is simply draw a circle and inscribe Agrath's name in Hebrew on the edges of the circle. If you don't want to inscribe Agrath's name in Hebrew on the edges of a circle, what I would advise is you should describe tetragrammaton 7 times on the edges of the circle, and in between the inscriptions of the tetragrammaton you should put the dagger in cardinal directions. So here is a picture of how you should set up the circle, where you should impale the daggers. And now you will see in maybe a minute or two the picture of the tetragrammaton, and I will tell you how to raise the sacred space. So I need to explain the picture once again. So essentially you will impale the dagger, so you need 4 daggers, 1 on each points at the edge of the circle marked in the picture. So you have 4 points in 4 cardinal directions, and you should sit in the middle of the circle at the marked place. In between the daggers you should write the most holy name of God, tetragrammaton. And while you are writing the most holy name of God, you should essentially vibrate the letters of the holy name of God. Yah, He, Va, He. Now let me pronounce it again. Yah, He, Va, He. Yah, He, Va, He. After you finished inscribing the name of God on the edges of the circle 7 times in total, then do the following. Visualize the ball of light above your crown chakra, and then also visualize the most holy name of God you would see right now on the screen, Yah, He, Va, He, carved in that ball of light. Then focus on that ball of light, radiating its rays into the edges of your circle. And while you hold that visualization, vibrate Ya, He, Va, He over and over again. And do that until you literally raise the sacred space, until you feel the energy rising around from the edges of the circle. So in this part of the video, I need to explain this entire thing with raising of the sacred space. Why you are doing what you are doing, what is the point, what are you pronouncing, why you are impaling the edges of the circle with daggers at the places I marked, and why you are visualizing the ball of light above your head with the name of God, radiating the light into the edges of the circle until you can literally feel the barrier of light radiating from the edges of the circle. So why you do all of that? That's the question. So first, let's tackle a little, just short piece of information you need to know about the Tetragrammaton, aka the most holy name of God. So if you follow this channel for some time, you would know that names of God are not the names of any entity. They are attributes of the source. And Tetragrammaton specifically is the name of God which embodies the totality of the source. So it is the most holy, the most powerful, the strongest name of God. And by contemplating upon that name and pronouncing the letters of the name and visualizing the ball of light with the letters of the name radiating at the top of your head, and visualizing the rays of the ball of light radiating into the edge of the circle, you are doing three things, okay? You are first indirectly asking for the permission of the source in your working. Then you are strengthening your astral bodies. Then, by impaling the daggers at 4 cardinal directions, inscribing the name of God on the edges of the circle 7 times in total, and raising that sacred space through the name of God via the ball of light visualization, what you effectively do is you prevent, in a complex manner, any imposter from entering your meditative space. And this is really important because after you master this part, you will essentially start doing a preparatory meditations for working with Agrath but Mahlat. Now, the reason why you visualize white light instead of the black light, which is usually recommended in meditations on this channel, is because essentially the goal of this meditation, this raising of the sacred space, is to build up your astral bodies and life force energy and establish that connection with the source, with the creator. Because that will allow your soul to withstand negative energies of Agrath without a lot of side effects. So my advice is this: do this raising of the sacred space as instructed for 3 weeks or 9 weeks, depending on your level, until you master it completely. So if you are talented, you will master the raising of the sacred space in 3 weeks. If you are average motherfucker, you will master the raising of the sacred space in 9 weeks. You should raise the sacred space in this manner before every work with Agrath but Mahlat in general. After you have mastered the sacred space, you can pursue work with other meditations involving preparation to work with Agrath but Mahlat. Now, after you mastered the raising of the sacred space, we can safely teach you and you can safely start practicing the next part of this preparation, which is activation of your energy centers through the names of Agrath. You see right now the picture where the 4 points are marked with the corresponding names of Agrath, and I will pronounce right now the names. So, Agrath for the crown, Ygritte for solar plexus, Ygrittela for root, and Agrath for the feet. I will do it once again. Agrath for the crown, Ygritte for solar plexus, Ygrittela for the root, Agrath for the feet. Now, while you are pronouncing each name, you should focus on the corresponding point of the energy body, which is marked in the picture. And you should also visualize the blue ball of light radiating into the center. Now I will explain what all of this does and why are you doing this. So you are indirectly calling Agrath but Mahlat into your sacred space to activate your energy centers. But you are not calling her directly. This is not a formal call. Instead, you are simply inviting her energy to infuse your energy centers. So you are essentially prepared to work with her once you do the full conjuration of the entity. So I advise for beginners who mastered the raising of the sacred space in the circle to do this exercise and practice 10 minutes every day after they have learned to master sacred space, to raise the sacred space. Once you learned to raise the sacred space and you do this empowerment exercise for about 3 weeks, this infusement of the chakras with Agrath's energy, then you can do the next 2 preparatory exercises. So essentially, the next part you do after you mastered the raising of the sacred space, the infusion of the energy centers with Agrath's energy, and then you are ready for the next step. I need to elaborate that all steps are done one after the other. So each step is the upgrade of the previous one. So first, you do raising of the sacred space. Then you do energetic infusement with Agrath's energy. And then you do this recitation. You do this call. And so those preparational steps are not done separately from each other or independently from each other. You see, and you master them step by step. So if you want to do this recitation, you need to, in the same go, back to back, do raising of the sacred space, then energy infusion with Agrath's energy, and then you do this recitation. So here is what you need to do. After you infused yourself with Agrath's energy, for this step, you need to have an incense burner with frankincense with you in the circle. And so you light incense and you say, by the power of the left side of Shina, I call you Agrath bat Mahlat to open my astral senses. Agrati taeta manna. Now, the last sentence is channeled magical chant for calling of Agrath for this purpose. So essentially, by doing this recitation, you are starting to reach partial direct contact with Agrath bat Mahlat. If you mastered the raising of the sacred space and infusion with Agrath's energy, and you do them back to back with this recitation, an offering of incense, you will definitely feel the presence of Agrath bat Mahlat. And you will definitely have your astral senses open significantly every time you do this recitation with steps beforehand. So right now you will see recitation on the screen, and ideal is to repeat it 900 times, but my suggestion is to repeat the recitation any number of times you are comfortable with, because at this stage you are kind of partially working with this demonic energy, with this dark energy, destructive energy, and you don't want to be overloaded with that. So work with that to a degree you are comfortable with. For the purpose of this video, I need to explain what is the left side of Shina. So essentially, what is Shina? Shina is the presence of God in this world. And Shina is a representation, and it is the wisdom of the Torah. It is the wisdom of the divine law. And so the right side of the divine law is all of the commandments and all of the things which are commanded by the law. And the divine law represents everything you need to do in order to be in communion with the right side of God, which created the Sphirot. But what is then the left side of God? What is the left side of Shina? What is the left side of divine presence in the world? It is essentially a spiritual current behind all of the things Torah forbids. It is the spiritual current of primordial impure energy which created the Cliffot, which created the shells, which created the dwelling place of the Shadim or demons. And the left side of Shina is manifestation of the destructive side of God. And it is that destructive side of God which is served by demons. And this is what you are calling and what you are praying to and asking for permission to bring Agrath but Mahlat and open your astral senses. And the reason why this prayer is something you do relatively late in your preparation to work with Agrath is because once you open up your astral senses and you are able to use this prayer to its full potential, the effects will be extremely intense. And so if you do it as a beginner who doesn't have astral senses opened, there is a lot of benefits to this. Really, this is when you open up your astral senses, when you already kind of know what you are doing, when you're able to enter those trance states and partially see the unseen realm, then you recite this. Then you use this. The reason why you light the incense is because, contrary to the popular belief, spirits or jinn or shadim or demons, call them whatever you wanna call them, are not immortal. They are mortal just like us. They have much longer lifespans than us, but they also need life force energy and feed of life force energy. And so by lighting the incense, you are giving the spirit necessary life force energy for it to manifest stronger and fulfill your request. Incense is a necessary part of this. So now you know what you are calling and what you are dealing with, and be careful with this particular recitation, because this will bring Agrath bat Mahlat by the power of the left side of the divine wisdom to you in an intense manner for a beginner. So be careful with this. At the end of the video, let me present to you the most weird and also potentially dangerous part of this video. So after you called Agrath and offered her incense, what you should do as a part 4, after you mastered the Agrath exercise for about a week, the third step is you should start breathing in light blue smoke as the one you hear and see now on the screen. And let me explain you the reason why. So this light blue smoke is essentially how I see Agrath's energy on the astral plane. And Agrath is actually a dark mercurial spirit, so it makes sense that this color is her color essentially. By breathing in meditation through visualization, this light blue smoke, you are permanently aligning with the current of Agrath, and by doing this meditation, you are essentially becoming a part of her current, becoming an extension of her current. And you should be careful about this meditation. Specifically, Agrath told me so. Especially after you do it after 3 steps I mentioned, because then the effects will be permanent. If you just do this meditation as step 1, then the effects will probably be temporary. But if you do it after 3 steps, your aura will become more receptive, which means that the effects will probably be permanent. So thank you for watching this tutorial, guys, and click the like button to appease the goals of the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel, because more of this good quality content is coming. And also, if you need some magical help, contact me through the contact in the description. Thank you for watching.